Your thoughts. On what do your thoughts depend upon? My ideas. Your ideas. On what do your ideas depend upon? My mind. And your mind, on what does your mind depend upon? On the wherever it finds itself. And how about the wherever it finds itself? What does it depend upon? The surrounding and the abounding wherevers. The surrounding and abounding wherevers, what do they depend upon? The planetary, starry, and galactic immediate, and on to away the way be far away, out into the nebulous of nebulae, of what we would call the cosmos here to say. Calling it to the universe would not lead us astray. Would it make any sense to continue and to ask, does the cosmos depend on anything? Yes, you are right. Such a question wouldn't be making any sense. My thoughts, besides and in addition to, depending upon my ideas, also depend upon one another. My ideas, besides and in addition to depending upon my mind, also depend upon one another. And the wherevers, besides and in addition to depending upon the cosmos, also depend upon one another, and in their interdependency upon one another are they dependent upon the seeming invisibleness which exists between and often about them, that something which, for want of a more suitable word, not yet having made its way to me, I will call it sea or seas, ocean or oceans, which as it were shores up to them. You mean that which scientists would call space, or to coin a more contemporary phrase, dark matter? This works for them seemingly, but not for me. Then aren't you a scientist of any kind? I feel like laughing out loud at such a thought. Me, a scientist, even a scientist of any kind? Are the soles of my feet and the pads of a fox's paws the same? How about the footprints of the heron and the horse? To continue and to howsoever to ever. There is a no besides and in addition to what the cosmos depends upon, for the cosmos is unto itself unto itself. To say the cosmos depends on something is to be thinking of the cosmos as having an outside, as a box would have an inside and an outside. Within and without, the cosmos has no application, no meaning, for the cosmos does not lend itself to such a squaring away of itself, no more than does it to say any a circling or a sphering of it, not even to any a mathematical equation. And are you going as far as saying then, not even the energy equals the mass, the speed of light squared away one? Not even. It can't be boxed in any way, not even within the contours of language, though this has never stopped the scientist or the mathematician from confidently having a go at it. Here I too, of coursely and from a philosophizing point of view, include myself, I do. And no amount of thinking outside the box, as the phrase would go, will be sufficient enough if this characteristic, this aspect of the cosmos, isn't fully taken into account. Any such thinking would be a non-starter, definitely. But what if, yes, but what if the cosmos is but one of many cosmoses? What if there is more than one cosmos? What then would you have to say on it? Say well I would on it that I can understand that you, being used to culturing yourself to think in terms of ones, twos, and threes, and all the way off out into endless numberings, that such a thought could indeed, without much to any opposition to it, easily come to form itself in your mind and be attempting to express itself in such words and the like. For my part, I have a liking to think and say the cosmos is complete, rather than to be thinking of it as one, and in being as such, it could very well be endless cosmoses. But again, not in the numbering sense of being many, but rather in the sense of being completely complete. And even to be considering it thus, it definitely would not be lending itself to a squaring away no more than it would to a circling or a sphering, or again, for that matter, to any a mathematical configuration. No amount of trying to wrap your head around this will be sufficient enough if this characteristic, this aspect of the cosmos, or of the cosmos being cosmoses, isn't fully taken into account. Any such thinking wouldn't even get us beyond the tops of the trees there, never mind the beyond of the far-off hills over. Here to let me to hear tell of what yesterday afternoon became unto me while strolling along by the bank of the river there below, and carefreely wondering away to myself on what the nature of physical reality might be, and on how much truly of a physicality is physical reality, when, with reaching to a much beloved spot of mine, I sat myself down to wonder under these some more, when with the softness of the breezes there all about, and the sounds of the waters in shallow flow, and the lovely warmth of the sunshine aglow, didn't I willingly let myself drift away into a sleep, a nap lasting surely no more than a few minutes, where therein finding myself to be of this halcyon dream, a dream most unusual, nothing in a likeness to it had I ever dreamt afore. Now, in this dream, I saw a beautiful, variegated, theory general relativity butterfly, flitting, curving, and warping and spacing about among mid-May trees. And I found myself, happy as a child, run fondly following it along until it came to a light on a rock, wherein the sunshine there it enjoyed hold folding, opening, and closing its wings. As I was enjoying gazing at it, there came from along by a shimmering stream, the grove below, a beautiful speckled theory quantum dragonfly. And it too, in the momentum of things, felt an urge for some touchdown time in the lovely sunshine, and so came too to alighting on the rock, positioning itself within some 6 to 8 inches of the butterfly. And it also took to enjoying hold, folding, opening, and closing its wings. As I was watching them, didn't I notice something quite beyond full explanation take place? All of a moment happening so quickly, so very quickly, that I could well have missed it. But didn't they spontaneously, and with fully being in sync with one another, arise to a height of some 12 to 15 inches above the surface of the rock, where there they remained hovering for some 1 to 2 to 3 minutes perhaps, before turning and with facing each other simultaneously, and I not knowing what was going to happen next, but sensed that something definitely was going to happen, held my breath. Didn't they both move, as it were, right over into one another, becoming one to the other to one? Gone was the butterfly, gone was the dragonfly, and in their place was a totally new life form. I was mystified and amazed. Had the butterfly been transformed into the dragonfly, or the dragonfly into the butterfly? But then again, the new being that was there in their stead was neither a butterfly nor a dragonfly. Howsoever, a transformation of some kind had taken place, which I, for all of the most part, had seen with my very own eyes. This new being slowly descended and and lighted on the rock. It was so beautiful, having as it did all the colors of both the butterfly and the dragonfly, as well as many unique to itself. Strange too, how strange though, but it was totally wingless. And in a moment, to some moments, it began to slowly float itself at an angle of some 75 to 80 degrees up from the rock to my eye level. In size, it was about the width and, or say, diameter of my hand, with having my fingers outstretched. Yet it didn't give the impression of being of circledom, squaredom, rectangledom, or anydom. I couldn't say for sure what shape it was, for it seemed to be constantly of another shape and another shape, yet of a same shape staying. I marveled how it did that, seeing that it seemingly had no means whatsoever to be able to move, to ascend like that. Yet there it was there, hovering silently in the air out before my eyes, with the sunlight touching, as it were, every single one of its colors individually. Its colors seemingly being its eyes, multiple eyes. Oh, it was so beautiful, not like unto anything in kind I had ever seen before, either in dream or of sleep or in dream of wake. And then, in a moment again, didn't it playfully float itself along in and out among the reeds and on out over the stream, even going to a light here and there on stones before returning to a light and float on the surface of the waters, and with at times even disappearing beneath the surface, only to resurface a stretch downstream and hover or rapidly shoot away up into out of sight. And as rapidly as it had shot up, it would so descend. At times it would enjoy floating backwards horizontally, at times upwardsly, at times downwardsly. It would completely vanish and partially vanish here and there about. This amazing ability it once did too, with coming into a light on my two palms cupped together out before me. A very pleasant tingling sensation in my palms did I experience it to be. And somehow I knew this new being, this unique life form to be none other than a physical impossibility possible. In a word, an impossibility possible. It was a life form that was definitely not an insect, yet from an insect, in fact from two insects, a butterfly and a dragonfly, had it come into form. It was a something, but what that a something was didn't come into my knowing. And I found myself thinking that here, as it were, is a living physical theory that would most assuredly cause us to significantly, if not profoundly, reconsider everything we ever knew about physics, about the laws of physics, the seemingly forbiddens of physics. It would flip them upside down, inside out, and back to front, so it would. And even if that we could at all allow ourselves to do, how much more then, with information formed, I thought, will we need to be able to comprehend physicality way down deeply. Oh, it was having mighty fun, so it was there about the stream, the trees, and me. And I too was very much of this fun, of the mental wit observing it. And with a childlike giddy fullness of joy, I came to be of the folding of the dream and the sleep awaking. Oh, my mind truly, I know to be a wondrous place, its ideas and their ways immensely fascinating.